Kristen Bell is best known for her work in Veronica Mars, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and House of Lies, but her biggest role yet, Mom. She recently gave birth to daughter Lincoln Bell Shepherd, and she's certainly setting a good example for her new baby girl. Kristen is a fierce advocate for several charities, and she tells us all about it in this edition of Cause Celeb.
So, you've had an interesting career. You know, we definitely know you're the sex symbol for the geek, and you've had some, you've kind of played tomboys. You've been in some very cult classics, you know, from Veronica Mars, Heroes. You know, you've been in movies that people just are obsessed with. How does that come about in a career?
Honestly, most of it's random. I mean, I'd love to tell you that there was a reality to me having picked and chosen all of my projects, but the truth is I audition for everything that comes my way, I think, as most actors do. And I also found that when I really liked a script and I became obsessed with it, I would really try hard to get it. I would write the producer a note or write the director a note or just work really, really hard on the audition, so I would gravitate towards scripts that I really loved.
Speaking of, are you going to write? Are you going to direct?
I think that you have to have it inside you. It's like writing music. You have to be full up to here with the notes of that song in order to pour it out and for it to be any good. And like I see, like Dax writes a lot at home. He writes almost constantly. So I think that I'm very much hoping that one day I get stuck with that bug and I think like I gotta get all these ideas out of me. But currently I'm empty.
Well, speaking of Dax, he's your fiance. You guys have been together since 2007.
Yes.
Expecting a baby together. And I think what's so fascinating about you guys, they're not going to get married until it's legal for everyone to get married in California.
Yeah. It's so obvious from my perspective, I guess, which is why it's fascinating to me that people say, like, wow, you're really doing that. And I'm like, well, yeah, are you kidding? Like, my friends can't get married. When am I going to have a wedding and invite 50% of the people that can't celebrate this, right? I mean, this is the wrong side of history.
Yeah,
period.
Absolutely.
No, it is. It's like, it is like throwing a party at the front of the bus in the 60s and all your friends are black. I mean, that's the equivalent of what it is. And it almost does.
I got to give you a high five on that one. That is great. That's a great thing.
It's so clear to me, and I think that's one of the reasons I fell so in love with him, is because that's also an issue that's so close to his heart and is so clear to him. And when we got engaged, it was one of the first things we talked about.
I thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about charity now. You know, you do a lot of work with Charity Water, which has been a charity that I've worked with a lot in the past.
Yeah.
How did you get involved?
Well, Scott Harrison is actually a friend, and that's such a, I think, a lucky thing to be able to say, because he's such a unique, forward thinker. But he has one of the most unique philanthropic organizations out there, because 100% of their fundraising goes to putting wells on the ground. And the way that he campaigns specifically, I think, is really unique, because they do birthday campaigns where you can say, yes, oh, I want this for my birthday instead, and you're giving the gift of your birthday, which is a really, really great grassroots campaign. Scott was very smart, and I did it with my 30th birthday and raised $100,000 and then went to Ethiopia with Scott, because I really feel like the follow-through is the most responsible way. So I went and made a video and showed them exactly what we were doing, and I went down into the well, and it was
wow.
It was a lot of fun, and it was really crazy to see just a culture that was so different and so lovely, but so not what I'm used to.
Did you get to go to Uganda? Because I know you work with Invisible Children also, which is an incredible organization. One
of the reasons I like Invisible Children so much is because they very much preach this idea of the fourth estate, which is like, but before the French Revolution, they had three estates. They had the religious right, the monarchy, and then the third estate, which was the people. And then they rose up and obviously, you know, had war and blah, blah, blah. But the point being is that I would like to see a world where there is a fourth estate, which means there's no more there's no more an us and them. We're sort of one.
Somali Mom, another incredible charity that takes place kind of more over in Asia, and she was a victim of these crimes and started this charity on her own, and then some American kids came along and really helped.
Somali Mom is a very, very special woman, I think, and she so deserves the credit for this entire organization. She herself had over 9 years of being a sex slave worker, and she got out of that industry with tooth and nail. I mean, barely got out, and decided rather than just live her life normally, she was going to make it her mission to help other people. And I think that it's so unique when you find an individual that can just be the tiniest sparks make the biggest fires.
Absolutely.
And that's the best way to describe her. I don't think people have to be in a bad mood to help good causes. I just want to see an end happen to the treatment because I want everybody to know their own human rights.
Well, I appreciate you coming today and giving us some of your time and talking about it with us. You're just brilliant. I've always known you were, but now everyone does.
Brilliant. I've fooled everybody. I don't know.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Sure.